안녕하세요. 쿠키코리아입니다. Have you ever heard a Korean says 잘한다 and thought, wow, they're being so nice? Well, they're not. Today we are diving into something that confuses almost every Korean learner. Korean sarcasm. Expressions that sound like compliments but are actually the complete opposite. Let's get started. You're watching Bite-Sized Korean Cookie Korea. In Korean, some expressions sound like compliments, but they're actually sarcastic or critical, depending on the context and tone. Let's look at 3 common phrases that don't always mean what they seem. I'll show you the literal meaning, the actual meaning, and some examples to help you understand when they're sarcastic. And don't worry, I'll give you some tips later to tell the difference. 웃긴다. 웃긴다 literally means you're so funny. When it's a compliment, it's super straightforward, like this comedian is hilarious. 웃긴다. But most of the time, it's not about laughing. It's sarcastic when someone says something ridiculous or unbelievable. And yeah, usually an eye roll. Let's look at some examples. Your ex is still talking about you 3 months after the breakup. You just go, 웃긴다. Your colleague clearly made a mistake but blames you behind your back. You hear about it and say, 웃긴다. Your roommate says, I'm too tired to wash the dishes, but just played video games for 6 hours. You look at her like, 웃긴다. Your friend ghosted you for 2 weeks, but suddenly texts, hey, you never check in on me. You show your phone to someone and say, 웃긴다. jal-la-sseo. jal-la-sseo literally means you're great or you're so accomplished. But here's the thing. No one says this as a real compliment to someone's face. If it is sincere, it's usually said about someone else with a little bit of envy, like, that guy, handsome, rich, Olympic medalist, jal-la-sseo. But most of the time, it's pure sarcasm, like when someone is showing off or trying too hard to sound cool. Let's see how it's used. Your friend won't stop bragging about how perfect her relationship is. You finally go, jal-la-sseo. A guy just casually drops that he got into Harvard even though no one asked. You roll your eyes and go, jal-la-sseo. Your friend got a massive loan just to buy a supercar and flex on Instagram. You watch his story and go, jal-la-sseo. You are at a group dinner and someone corrects your pronunciation in front of everyone. Twice. The table goes awkwardly silent. And someone whispers, jal-han-da. jal-han-da literally means well done or good job. When it's sincere, it's warm and encouraging. Let's say your friend nailed a presentation. You smile and say to your other friends, 잘한다. Or your roommate made something amazing for dinner. You take one bite and go, 잘한다. But when it's sarcastic, it's a fake compliment like saying, Wow, nice one, but not in a good way. Here's how it's used. You're late to the meeting again. Your close superior says, 잘한다. You spilled red wine all over the new white couch. Your mom walks in, takes a deep breath, and says, 잘한다. Your younger sister watched Netflix all night and missed school the next morning. You look at her like, 잘한다. You meant to text your project group, but accidentally sent, this project is annoying, to your professor. Your classmates see it and say, 잘한다. Many cultures use sarcasm, but Korean sarcasm can be especially subtle, even hard to notice at first. On the surface, it may sound calm or even polite, but underneath, there is often a very different message. Why is that? In Korean culture, speaking too directly, especially when expressing frustration or criticism, can feel awkward or even rude. So instead of saying something too direct or mean, people sometimes express negative feelings in a softer way. It's not about hiding emotion. It's just a more indirect, socially acceptable way to say something critical. That's why these expressions can be tricky to catch. If you only focus on the literal words, you might miss the real meaning. So in this video, let's look at how you can tell the difference between a real compliment and a sarcastic one. So, how can you tell if someone is being sarcastic or not? The words might sound nice, but the tone, the face, and the mood, they tell a totally different story. Let me show you what I mean. 웃긴다. If someone says 웃긴다 with a big smile or even a laugh, they probably mean it. It's actually funny to them. But if they say 웃긴다 with an eye roll or a tired face, they are annoyed or just done with it. Sometimes you'll hear a little before it, like 웃긴다. Or they might say 진짜 웃긴다. 진짜 웃긴다. With that heavy dramatic tone. And for maximum sarcasm, they'll even use formal speech. 웃기시네. 웃기시네. Adding she, which is usually used to show respect, makes it sound even more passive-aggressive in this context. jal-la-sseo. This one, almost always sarcastic. No one really says jal-la-sseo to your face and means it kindly. If someone says jal-la-sseo with a fake smile and drags out the aw, they're definitely mocking you, not complimenting. You'll also hear people repeat it like 잘났다, 잘났어 to make it sound stronger or more sarcastic. Or add a dramatic 정말, which means seriously at the end, like 잘났어, 정말. It's not praise. It's more like, wow, look at you. jal-han-da. Now this one can actually go both ways. If someone says 잘한다, short, strong, and confident, that's real. They think it's amazing. But if they drag it out like 잘한다 with a forced smile, that's sarcasm. And it usually means, what were you thinking? You might even hear 잘한다, 잘해, while the repetition, saying it twice, adds extra drama. It's pushing the sarcasm even further. And the longer they drag it out, like 잘한다, 잘해, the more annoyed they are. It's not really about complimenting you. It's more like, I can't believe this. Just look at what you did. To catch the sarcasm, you've got to listen beyond the words. Pay attention to the tone, the face, and the vibe. Let's quickly go over what we learned. Now let's try it out with some real Korean examples. I'll say each one 2 ways. First, the sincere version, then the sarcastic version. Listen carefully and see if you can catch the difference. 웃긴다. 웃긴다. 잘났어. 잘났어. 잘한다. 잘한다. 오늘은 여기까지. 고생 많으셨습니다. Subscribe for more real Korean you can use in real life. This was Bite-sized Korean, Cookie Korea.